All right, folks. This is the initial broadcast and the second, but this is really the first video on this channel, which we're going to do these every Thursday. Guys, I cannot wait to be able to do these live. Unfortunately, I think you have to have 1,000 subs to do these live. I just started and I cannot believe I have 100 subs already. I want to thank all you guys for coming on over. And most of you guys watched me last week on my other channel and just 4-1 in my 5 super locks. And if I would have bet every fight that night, I think there was 11 fights. I think I would have went 9-2. Because as you know, I talk about every fight, but I only give you between 3 and 5 super locks. Last week there was 5, and there was a reason why I decided to start this series of best bets, predictions, thoughts, UFC, MMA, was because I really loved last week's card. This week we're going to have 4 super locks for you, all right? And again, we're going to keep track of all my picks every week. Now, the one thing, doing this on Thursday night, guys, it's tough because weigh-ins, and I'm telling you right now, watch the weigh-ins every Friday. You can tell so much from weigh-ins, and obviously missing weight. One of my best picks last week was in the Courtney Casey versus Jillian Robertson fight. Now, it was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen at a weigh-in. If you watched it, Courtney Casey stripped down, completely nude. Of course, she was under, a ring, the tarp, 2 women holding up like this, curtain. We'll call it a curtain. Because for some reason she thought she was going to miss weight. So she strips down. She can barely walk. She's groaning in pain because of the weight cut. And she ended up weighing 2 pounds under. So she was at the 125-pound weight limit. She could have actually came in. She was 3 pounds under because she can come in 1 pound over. So 126. She ended up weighing 123 pounds. So I have no idea. I've never seen somebody strip down 3 pounds under, moaning from pain. So there was no way I could have bet that fight. And those guys, you guys who follow me on Instagram, you guys know on Friday, I didn't want to make a video on Tool Boss about it because, obviously it's a tool channel. But for the guys that follow me on Instagram, I said immediately get off that. And I took Boel, and of course he won. And I showed you the people on Instagram, my picks that I did take him. So was 4-1 last week. But if we ever have an incident again, we're filming this on Thursday. Now that we have this new channel, if something happens Friday, Saturday, you're going to see a video here. Click the notification button for late breaking stuff before the event. If something happens, late breaking news, and always put your information if you find something out in the comments, so we let each other know what's going on. All right. But let's get to this week's event. And I have 2 that I'm going to give you 4 and 4. But there's, how I always really like last week. I loved Pennington and I love Lauren Murphy. And a lot of people were doubting me on Lauren Murphy. And I said, let's do it. I'm telling you, it's a lock. And I actually hit an $800 parlay with Murphy. All right, so we're going to start with the prelims. And I'm going to try not to spend as much time like we did last week. But we got Jin Fry, the ex-Invicta champion, going against Kay Hansen. Now, Fry is actually an underdog in this match. She is plus $138, all right, against Kay Hansen. No pictures. I believe this is both of their debuts in the UFC, all right? I would doubt there's even any real information on here. But Hansen is 6-3. Fry is 9-4. Yep, both debuting here. I'm telling you, I like Fry plus the 138. Um, you know, they're both 5-3. All right, I don't know the reach advantages, but I've seen Fry fight in Invicta, and I was very impressed with her. I'm gonna be honest with you, Kay Hansen. Uh, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, it can go either way here. Obviously, it's not one of my picks, right? My super locks, but we do go over every fight here, of course. But yes, um, I would take Fry here, Jin Fry. Now she is older. She's 35 years old. Hansen is only 20. That's another reason. A 20-year-old versus a 35-year-old who, 13 professional fights over 9. Okay. I think free I think this line is actually dropped a little bit too. So expect this, she's plus 138. I bet you during right before this kicks off, you're gonna see her plus 125, maybe even plus 120. So right now, plus 138, I think you can gain a little bit more now. But again, not a fight I'd recommend personally. But, you know, if you want to bet, I would go more towards maybe, you know, the fight going the distance. I think they're both just going to run around and, you know, try to really avoid each other for 3 rounds, to be honest. But then we got a great fight here. Jordan Griffin versus Youssef Zawal. Pretty much an even fight here. All right, Zawal, young guy, 23 years old, 8-2 record versus Jordan Griffin. He's 30, 18-7. Okay, Griffin has a 73-inch reach versus Zawal, 72-inch. Both are 5'8". All right, so pretty even. Um, Now, pretty even fight. Griffin is plus 100 and Zawal is minus 125. I like Jordan Griffin. I was really thinking about taking him. Um, this fight, I think, is really going to be one of the best fights on the prelim card, if not the best. Um, Both, like to go after it. I don't know. Again, it's not one of my top 4, but I'm leaning towards Zawal here. Um, Jordan Griffin, all right, in his last fight, he actually won the fight. I got to get a better way of looking these guys up here, but Griffin's last fight was back just in February. He beat TJ Brown, all right, in a submission in the second round, all right. Um, so he's pretty much 1-1 in the UFC. He lost to Chaz Skelly back in September. All right. So 1-1, one submission, and he lost a um, decision to Chaz Skelly back in September. Um, Youssef Zawal, all right, he's a lot younger, like I said, and this will be his second fight in the UFC. He fought again back in February as well, and eked out a decision against Austin Lingo. I don't know, guys. This is a tough one. Again, I don't, 2 underdogs I'm giving you, but I think I'm gonna go with Griffin. I was leaning towards him, then I was like, again, not one of my fights, but I do like to give you a little heads up. Maybe you're thinking, it can go either way, but I think Griffin being a little bit older, a little bit more cage experience, I think I would take a Griffin. I think he's got more ways to win the fight as well. Submission. He's a great stand up. He can submit you. Um, so all right, next fight, Takashi Sato versus Ramiz Brahimaj. and I'm probably saying his name wrong. Brahimajah. Well, that sounds better. Um, welterweight bout here, guys. See, I wish the odds worked on this. See, that's the problem because I got to go to two different setups here. I might have to get a second computer when I do this, so I have like the odds and then the fight info. Um, but anyway, we got Takashi Sato. He's 15-3 versus Ramiz Brajal. Um, 15-3 versus 8-2. So Ramiz Brajal is 8-2. 27 years old. Ramiz is. Both are 5'8". Both have exact 73-inch reach. All right, I can show you here. All right. Um, Sato. Actually, I think it does say. So the other fight said debut, which is good, but um, Sato lost to Bilal Muhammad. All right, that was my pick, one of my super locks last week, who eked out a decision. That was a great fight, Muhammad versus Lyman Good. Um, but before that, no, he lost by submission to Bilal Muhammad. All right, who was a great fighter. All right, so Sato, gave him a hard, 3 rounds. He beat Ben Saunders before that. He knocked him out in the second round. All right. So he's been in 2 fights in the UFC, 1-1, fought, two good opponents. All right. Um, uh, and this is Ramiz Brahmajal's first fight in the UFC. So, um, big advantage here to Takashi Sato. Um, again, not one of my top picks here, but I would be going with Sato. Now, the odds for this fight, you're going to be only laying minus 137 on Takashi's. There's a lot of buzz about Ramiz Budhal. Um, Obviously, he's a really young guy, made it into the UFC really quick. He's compiled a pretty good record of 8-2, but I think this is a big step up for him. And actually, I thought that the odds would be a little bit higher than 138, 137. So you can get plus 110 on Brahmaja. But again, gun to my head, I take Sato. All right, now we're getting into one of my super locks of the night here. Actually, it's the next fight here. But we got Philip Lins against Tanner Bosner. All right. These are the big boys. All right. Again, both of these guys are dead even, minus 112 apiece. So pretty much a pick 'em here. Let me get some info. All right, 14-4 for Philip Lins. Okay, he's from Brazil. 14-4 record versus Tanner Bosner, 17-6 from Canada. All right. 78-inch reach advantage for Lins, has a advantage there. Leg reach goes to Bosner. Both, big strikers, right? Not too much you're going to see these guys just, trying to knock each other's head off. I Let's get this. And yeah, the Aspen Ladd fight was canceled as well. In case you guys haven't known, she has to get ACL surgery. But Philip Lins, all right, 34. Bosner's 28 years old. Andrei Arlovski beat Lins last fight. A pretty good fight for Lins. This was just, a month ago. May 13th they fought. Linz, you know, uh, I was impressed. Avlovsky's been in the UFC ring, I think, over 30 times, and Linz was there. Um, Bosner, you know, uh, you know, I'm not too impressed with him. Um, he fought Daniel Spitz. He did beat him. He eked out a decision. His last fight was in December. Cyril Gain. He beat him in a 3-round decision. Um, so I'm gonna go with Linz here. Again, not one of my fights, my super locks, but a gun to my head, even money. I would. I think Linz is gonna win this fight. I think he's gonna win it. Um, pretty easily. I think it's either gonna go to a unanimous decision or a very late third round. Uh, he'll find a way to hit this guy out. But again, gun to my head, I would take Linz, but not going to. It's not going to make my super lock of the night. But this fight is, and Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena. I bet on him every time he fights, and he's never let me down. All right, he's lost once, but he was robbed. Matt Frivola, I think 2 fights ago, somehow he got the decision win over Pena. It was one of the worst decisions I ever seen. I was so mad I wasn't going to bet. I took a 2-week non-betting, stance. I was so upset over that decision. It was terrible, and many people agreed with me. I think actually everybody agreed with me. It was very shocking. But Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, I mean, what can't this guy do? Great stand up, great submission, um, you know, back fists, jumping off the side of the cage. He does it all here. Now, his country, he was born in Italy, but he's, really not. I don't even know why he uses Italy, but he was born on some like Air Force base in Italy. But a great fighter. Um, very big for this division. He's 6'3". All right. Worthy, a good fighter too. And he's pretty big for this division at 5'11". This middleweight division, 155 pounds. Being 6'3", he's only got a 2-inch advantage. He usually has a bigger reach advantages in his other fights, but Worthy's got a very large reach as well. But he kicks, he punches, again, great submission, back fists, elbows, ground and pound, very complete fighter. He should be 9-1. But unfortunately he got screwed in that fight. And I'm very surprised that he's not on the main card because he's very entertaining. Violent Bob Ross, he's getting very well known. Um, but anyway, oh, that's right. I guess there was another fight that got canceled because that was my other pick, and I don't see it up here. But maybe they moved it to the main card. I'll have to gonna see. But anyway, Pena did eke out. Wasn't his best performance his last fight. I will say that. That was against Steve Garcia, who was on like 2 weeks' notice. But he did eke out a decision. Before that, yep, Frivola beat him in a terrible decision, but beat Matt Whitman before that, beat Steven Peterson, beat Richie Smullen, and the only fight he's really lost was to Mike Trizano in a decision. Never been knocked out, never been submitted. Worthy's a good fighter. All right. I just don't. I think this is, Violent Bob Ross is just a little too much for him here. Um, 15-6. He's 33, by the way. Payne is 26. Um, Worthy in his last fight looked um, you know, uh, he beat Devontae Smith. All right, first round, he beat him. That was basically his first fight in the UFC. He was supposed to fight Michael Johnson in April, but it got canceled. Um, again, Devontae Smith, not really going against the people that Pena's gone up against. The odds on this fight, Pena is minus 265. Okay. I expect him to win this fight pretty easily. This is my the first one. It's not my best pick, but it is the first super lock of the night. I'd like to know how long I've been on here. All right. Now, if the Borello, because I don't even see it on here, so the Borello fight must have got canceled today. So I think there's only going to be 3 picks tonight, boys. Yeah, Borello must have got canceled because it's not on here. All right, Borello was supposed to fight. Yeah, Borello was the fight before this. Luis Pena was the main fight on the preliminary card, but Mara Romero Borello was supposed to fight Miranda Maverick. Something must have happened. Let me see if I can find out. Miranda Maverick out of UFC bout with Romero Borello due to injury. So she is out. Maverick out. Now she was a replacement Borella. So um, I figured she would actually be the one because she's going on like 2 weeks' notice. She just lost to Courtney Casey 2 weeks ago. She came in late, but Maverick is out. I love Maverick in that fight, but I'm gonna give you 3. All right, and unfortunately, nothing I can do with that. But the one I really love is coming up. But then you got Sean Woodson against Julian Arosa. Another great fight here, guys. Arosa is plus 333. Um, Sean Woodson, he's minus 480. Just a huge guy for this division. Um, not really much to talk about here. He's undefeated. Again, just 6'2". Let me go down. 145 pounds and 6'2". Just huge. Rosa's a big guy too, 6'1". I don't really believe he's 6'1". I don't. I'm a little shocked that they have him listed as 6'1". Arosa's a really good fighter, but he's fighting against Woodson. Woodson is like, I can easily give you Woodson, and you know what? I'll give it to you, but he's minus 485. There's some people that do these types of videos and they give you, like last week I picked 3 fights and they were pretty much all even money. All right. I'm not saying it's, I don't want to give you just easy picks because obviously you can make this one on your own. But since we lost the Barella fight, we'll put Sean Woodson in. Now, you obviously do not want to bet Woodson straight up. You want to put him in some parlays. All right. Um, he's, or, another good thing is Woodson for a finish. All right. I see this fight no way going the distance, but I'm sure the odds are crazy on that. And sometimes I just don't like messing with that because sometimes things happen. But Woodson is going to win this fight again, 480. All right. Then we got Jillian Vaughn. This is another good fight. Mo Green against Gian Villante. Um, Mo Green is minus 240 or Maurice Green. Um, again, I think a lot of these underdogs really have great value this week. I can easily see Villante winning this fight. Um, a little bit of an advantage with Mo Green. All right. He's a big, heavy hitter. The crochet boss. So I like how he uses the boss in his name. but he's 6'7". All right, he's just a huge guy. He's gonna have a 30-pound weight advantage. A 5-inch reach advantage against 6'7". He's only 8-5. All right, so and he does tend to tire out in these fights. All right, I would take Green, but again, Vellante can win this fight. All right, he's a veteran. Um, he's fought some really good fighters. I'm surprised he's really that high of a favorite, and actually it keeps going up. So they're betting big money on him. Some people, but um, you know, a lot of value with Vellante, but I think Mo Green will end up pulling it out. All right, now we got Brendan Allen -305 versus Kyle DeCosse. Okay, yeah, plus 235. Again, Brendan Allen, 305. He's ranked. All right, he's 13th in the um, all. I love his name too, Brendan All In Allen. All right. Um, Again, welterweight here. Kyle is 6-0, and he does have a little bit of a reach advantage, but totally out of his league here, if you ask me. He does have the height advantage as well. Let's see. Yeah, this is his first fight in the UFC. Um, I don't see him pulling this out. He is undefeated, but you got Brendan Allen. He's 24 years old versus Kyle is 27, but he just knocked out in the first round Tom Breeze back in February. And then in October, he beat Kevin Holland in a submission in the second round. So 2-0 in the UFC. Yeah, you're laying money again. Not one of my picks. Maybe throw him in a parlay, right? But straight up, I mean, it's hard to bet anybody straight up over 250. That's usually my max. If you're over 250, usually I'm putting you in parlays or something. Um, you know, uh, uh, yeah, I like him. I like Brendan Allen. I would put him in a parlay. All right, now for my super lock of the decade here. Now Mickey Gall, I love. He's from Jersey. I've noticed. I know him a lot. I follow him a lot. Um, Something's not right with him. He's totally mind freaked right now. If you don't know Mickey Gall, he's a submission artist. I think he's a black belt now. A black belt now. Um, and he talks a lot of smack. All right. He looks very, boyish, good looks like Matt Dillon a little bit, but he talks a lot of smack, for these fights. He hasn't said a peep. And I watched a couple of the interviews with him. He doesn't even want to badmouth Mike Perry. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to get into a verbal war with him. I don't know, because Mike Perry's got, he's he's a character. Now he has some big advantages height wise in this. I mean, for this division, he's a big dude. Problem is he just can't strike, and he's going. It's a very bad matchup for Mickey Gall. I think the odds are going to skyrocket. This is my super lock of the night, by the way. Mike Perry, though, he has his girlfriend, and his girlfriend only is going to be the corner for this guy. Now, if he was fighting anybody else, I mean, that would be definitely a red flag. And it's not that Mickey Gall is not. I don't want you to think that Mickey Gall is not a good fighter. He's beaten, Sage Northcutt. Um, he just won his last fight against Tahari. Um, he beat CM Punk. I mean, come on. But totally, you know, when he stepped up before and I bet on him and he let me down when he fought Diego Sanchez, he actually bit him. Um, he was just totally outclassed. And I think Mike Perry is a lot better fighter at this point in his career than Diego Sanchez. And he was just outclassed. And he was favored in that fight and he lost to Sanchez. He got knocked out in the second round. Um, Actually, I think he got submitted, but he was getting ground and pounded like crazy. Mike Perry has fought the best of the best. I mean, the best fighter Mickey Gall has fought in his career, probably Randy Brown, and he lost that fight in a decision. He lost to Sanchez. Diego Sanchez and Randy Brown are his only two losses. He's pretty much born and bred in the UFC. He won that contract on the Contender Series, and he fought CM Punk for his first fight. He's been in the UFC ever since. Does he really belong in the UFC? I mean, he could be one of these 500 guys in the UFC. Um, I don't know what just happened. I must have clicked him on accident. I do apologize. But anyway, he's fighting, Mike Perry here. Again, fought beasts and has beaten beasts. The only fight he really got destroyed, and actually was his last performance was pretty bad. But I was gonna say against Cowboy Cerrone. Now he just lost to Jeff Neal. He's a stud. He's probably be champion at some point in this division. So nothing bad to say about that. Then he fought Vincent Luque. He actually won that fight, even though he lost. I don't know how the judges. I thought he won rounds 1 and 2, like easily. And a lot of people think the same. He beat Alex Oliveira before that. I mean, he's fought guys. You know, I think this is going to end by knockout, either first or second round. Mickey Gall, he cannot strike. He's going against one of the best strikers in the division. He's strong. Mickey is, you know, he has one specialty, and that is, fighting off his back. All right. I don't think he's going to be able to get Mike Perry to the ground. As you can see, and he has great takedown defense, Mike Perry. Very, very bad matchup. I don't think he wanted to take this fight. I think UFC said, this is the fight, you're taking it. Um, this might be Mickey Gall's. I don't know how many fights he has left on his contract, but I don't. I think Bellator would be or PFL would be better for Mickey Gall. We'll have to see. What happens after this fight, but there's no way. Again, he's minus 265. Okay. I would get this bet in pretty actually he's minus 315 now. Oh my God. So just yesterday he was minus 265. Now he's minus 315. Huge money's going on Mike Perry. I'm actually pissed because I only actually put in one bet on Mike Perry and it was like a small one. Now I got to go up to 315. Shop around maybe on some different sites, but this is a guarantee Mike Perry as my third pick. And as always, we pick the main event. And here, I don't think this fight is even going to be that close either. I don't know why everybody's on Hooker. He lost his last. That's the only reason he's really in this fight. He got a lucky decision. I thought that the announcer there, what's the guy's name? The Irishman there, Paul Felder. I thought Felder won actually all 3 rounds. So, I mean, the second round was close. The third round was close. I thought Felder won the fight. Felder always gets screwed, but I thought he won that fight. Hooker, Poirier, he was ex champ. Again, has fought the best of the best. Hooker, besides Felder, hasn't really fought anybody. Ally Quinta is probably his best win. Um, you know, James Vick, who I don't know what happened to his career, but he has just went, downhill. Um, he did beat Gilbert Burns, but that was in a different division. That was in lightweight. He lost to Edson Barbosa. Um, Obviously, Poirier, his resume speaks for itself. He's ranked number 3. Hooker's ranked number 5. I think Poirier is going to knock this guy out. I don't think it's going to go to the distance. And I'll tell you, Hooker at the end of round 3, I don't even know if he can go 5 rounds, to be honest with you. I think he's gone the distance. Well, this is his first main event, I believe. Well, no, I think he might have won. I don't think he's ever gone 5 rounds. So, let me go. Nope. 2000. No, yeah, he did that. Oh, that Felder fight was 5 rounds. That's why, because he looked dead. But yeah, so 4 5. He won 3 rounds. Felder pretty clearly, and that fourth, like I said, I think it was 2, 4, and 5. Felder won pretty clearly. And I want to say, besides the first round, Hooker won, but after that, I think Felder won every round after that. But you can make, your the third round, you can debate that. Anyway, it don't matter. This is my 4th pick. Put your money on Poirier for super lock number 4. All right, Hooker does have a little bit of a height advantage, but I'm not a believer in Hooker. And a lot of people are high on him. I don't know what people see in him. If he wins this fight, he has a believer now. But I have not believed in him. So just to go over the 4 super locks for this June 27th. I don't know what happened. Maybe I have to hit the X here. All right. We'll start up top. Poirier. All right. Garrett, number 2, best pick of the night. Mike Perry is a super lock, as super odds have gone up. I would maybe even wait for him to come down, because at 315, it actually started at 245. So, I don't like giving a lot of picks over, 250, and this was actually under that. That's why I really liked it. But the Poirier, you got good odds. He's only minus 205. I would, a great 3-team parlay, or 3 guy parlay. I like Poirier, Perry, and not Woodson, because you're laying 480 on him. And Pena, because Pena is only, I believe, 265. All right, and that'll give you'll definitely be in the plus, probably plus like plus 160. And then if you want to add, Jordan Griffin, who's plus money. But again, my super locks: Luis Pena in the prelims. I did have another one, Borella, but they canceled that fight. So again, Pena, Woodson, Perry, and Poirier. All right, my one, and great value on Vellante. If you want an underdog, my 2 underdogs are Vellante and Griffin. Now, I shouldn't say that, because I do think Maurice Green's going to win. But I would actually take Jordan Griffin, and I would take... So these are my 2 underdogs. All right? So she's plus 135, Jinyu Frey, and Jordan Griffin's plus 100. I'm taking both of these if I was to bet. So I do have 2 underdogs. You might want to put Fry in one of them as well. I really like her, plus 138. I don't think Hanson's anything to, go crazy about. So check back next week. Hopefully we can be live at some point, and we'll have questions and answers and all that good stuff going on, and reactions, and who knows. But check us next Thursday. If there's any change, anybody drops out or someone misses weight or something that I see, I will definitely give an update now that we have this new channel up. But those are super locks, man. 4-1 last week. Let's try to keep it going this week. All right. Peace.